Hi guys, welcome to the Fight Tonight channel. Ryan Garcia next fight, April 2nd, return planet, likely in Las Vegas. Ryan Garcia is looking to get his career going again soon, and says he will be back in the ring in early April. The resume of my career starts April 2nd. It should be either in LA or Las Vegas, most likely Vegas, Garcia told. Look forward to the announcement of the fight and my opponent. Garcia has called our big names like Gervonta Tank Davis, of course, but nobody actually thinks that's going to happen right now. He also had a love talk for the man David just beat in December, Cruz, but recent reports are that veterans Mercito Gesta and Saul are the more likely options. Garcia last fight in January 2021, stopping Luke Campbell in the 7th round. He had a mental health break that cancelled a fight with Javier Fortuna, and then underwent hand surgery, which cancelled a November bout with Joseph Diaz Jr, who had taken Garcia's spot and beaten Fortuna in the summer. Garcia talked about the mental health break, the Campbell fight, and more with Beck too. On his social media popularity, it's given me freedom. I don't have to be desperate for fights. I don't have to be desperate to the promoters or anybody. Really, because I make enough money outside of the ring. Obviously, the cons are people not giving me any credit for what I do, but at the end of the day I feel like, with all my amateur background and then now as a professional fighter, myself, I feel like I've done enough to prove to myself that I am one of the top fighters in the world. And I'm going to prove that I am the best fighter in my weight class, Garcia said. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you really enjoy the content, then please subscribe to my channel and keep watching the videos. If you are subscribed, then you receive notifications about the release of new videos. You do not even have to look for anything personally. I really want to get 100 subscribers on my channel. I'm trying very hard, absolutely every day, and I need your support. Your likes, comments, reposts to social networks. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to my channel. You are my support. Thank you so much. On the mental health break Garcia took in 2021. I decided after my fight in January 2021. I decided to take a mental health break to recover. I was struggling deep within myself. Anybody who knows boxing knows if you are not 100% mentally, you are not gonna be there 100% physically, and you can die in the ring, so I took that pretty serious. I feel great coming back. It was not really come back to me. I'm refusing where I left off. Man, I feel great. I'm gonna come back just as strong and powerful. And when those knockouts come, I guarantee you everyone's gonna shut up and it's gonna be like nothing happened. On his top 5 knockouts: Fernando Vargas, Braulio Rodriguez, Miguel Carrizosa, Francisco Fonseca, and Luke Campbell. On getting dropped by Luke Campbell, I had training my mind for a hard fight. I had training my mind for war. I knew the fight wasn't going to be easy. There was no way it could be easy. This dude's an Olympic gold medalist. He's a very experienced pro. He's older than me. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, so when I got dropped, I was more shocked because I've never been dropped in my life. I was like a flash of white. I got hit and I see a flash of white. I am already standing up, so I kind of registered I got knocked down. And I looked at my coach, like, don't worry, I'm gonna get him. The first thing I thought to myself was, go right at him. Don't let him think he's got you. He even said after the fight, like, he couldn't go after me at the moment, because I appeared like was okay. And he knows my power. He didn't want to walk into one. I was a little like my equilibrium might have been a little off, but not too bad. It's kinda clear up within like 13 seconds. I came back to the corner, felt great, and looked at my coach and said, he can't do shit to me. Those were my exact words. And I knew I was in for a dogfight, but I knew he could not outwork me. I knew for a fact no matter what he did, I'm going to outwork him. I'm going to hit harder him. And I'm gonna catch him. Ryan Garcia said in an interview. Gary Russell: if I could make 2 fights, I would want Gervonta Davis and Lomachenko. Gary Russell Jr. started more than once during a virtual press conference Tuesday that he is fully focused on fighting Mark Magsayo. Gervonta Davis and Lomachenko both compete within the lightweight division, 2 weight classes above where Russell operates. Russell has said, however, that he would venture up to the 135-pound limit to get either of these 2 high-profile fights. Ukraine's Vasily Lomachenko remains the only pro opponent who has beaten Russell, a southpaw from Capitol Heights, Maryland. Lomachenko, a 3-weight world champion, commonly considered one of the top 10 boxers, pound for pound, in the sport, defeated Russell by majority decision in the 12th round fight for the then vacant WBO featherweight title in June 2014. Russell, a 28 Olympian, has long expressed interest in facing Lomachenko again. There still has not been any legitimate movement toward putting together their rematch from Al Heyman, who runs the Premier Boxing Champions organization with which Russell is affiliated, or Bob Arum, Lomachenko's promoter. Neither Davis nor his team have conveyed any genuine interest in matching the 3-division champion against Russell either. I mean, to be honest with you, I never overlook anybody. You know, Russell said in reference to his upcoming fight with Magsayo. Of course, I would want the Davis fight, you know, but as a man, I'm focusing on Magsayo. You know, Mark is the one that is willing to step into the ring and work his way up the rankings to challenge me for my world title. Gervonta thank Davis, he's not in a rush. Or maybe Floyd Mayweather, Davis' promoter, Leonard Tellerby, none of them guys are not in a rush of putting him in the ring with me. You know, I would rather focus on a true warrior, someone that's willing to put it all on the line and bring their physical best. That's Mark. Russell, 33, will make just the 6th defense of a title he won nearly 7 years ago when he encounters Magsayo. Devin Haney glowed last Saturday night after WBC featherweight champion Gary Russell Jr. lost to underdog Mark Magsayo by a 12th-round majority decision at the Borgata Hotel Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey, referring to the 26-year-old Magsayo. WBC lightweight champion Haney threw fuel on the fire in rubbing it about Russell Jr.'s loss to his mandatory challenger from the Philippines. The unbeaten Haney and Russell Jr. have had words in the past, which led to this reaction from the WBC 135-pound champion. Russell Jr. fought with an injured shoulder. In fairness to the 33-year-old Russell Jr., he was coming off a 2-year layoff, and his right shoulder injury limited his effectiveness from the 4th round on. Russell Jr. was forced to fight using mainly his left hand for his offense, and that wasn't going to be enough to turn back the threat from the young undefeated Magsayo. You can bet that when Haney eventually loses at some point in his career, Russell Jr. might choose to take a shot at him as well. In April, Haney could face undisputed lightweight champion George Kambosos Jr. in a large stadium fight in Australia. Freddie Roach reacts to Magsayo's win. I told him in the last 3 rounds, you got 3 rounds to take this fight right now. The fight is about even. Let's take these last 3 rounds and outscore this guy and win this fight, said trainer Freddie Roach to the media in discussing what he told his fighter Magsayo going into the championship rounds last Saturday night against Russell. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.